So Ricardo, could you tell us a little bit about what you were doing before your
jump right on it. I
yeah.
do like a
Heard about the program?
little opening. We'll do like we're ready though. We're so ready for you. Ricardo, I'm gonna like spend literally like 10 seconds just doing a little overview of what this is going to be like. But basically, we're gonna be together for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Throughout the 20 minutes, we're gonna be asking a variety of questions. Some questions are going to be open-ended questions, where the purpose is just to get more insight about who you are as a person and some of the work experience you've had. And then other questions are going to be scenario-based. So we're going to ask you to either like walk us or talk us through or demonstrate some learnings through an activity or an exercise.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good.
Last thing is we've also asked every single student before coming in is to pre-identify the specific tech role that you wanted to come into the interview thinking through. Were you able to pre-identify one of those?
Yeah, the junior project coordinator.
Project coordinator?
Project coordination.
Perfect.
Okay.
So we ask as you're engaging in responses to these questions that you really get through the lens of truly interviewing for a project coordinator role.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, we'll begin.
All right. So could you tell me a little bit about what you were doing before your how you heard about the program and why you decided to join?
Before this program, I was doing two things. I was in community college, figuring out what my major would be. I wanted to do, take different courses such as political science, history, and journalism. And finally, I ended up in communications. I loved it. Loved taking speech classes, took more, and that's why I ended off in. The second thing I was doing, I was working with the YMCA in after-school programs and in several schools. And I had an opportunity to work with children, elementary school ages from 5 to 10. And there I was able to use to develop this love for communicating and speaking to others of all ages, of all personalities. And I learned about Europe through two people who had came here before, different classes. They had told me about the program. They mentioned that there's professional communications here. That was the first thing that opened my mind to the whole program. I said, okay, maybe I can get a little better, not only in speeches, but in my professionalism. So I checked it out, went on to the website, saw its merits, that it's valid program, applied for it, and ever since then I've been here and enjoy the ability to speak with others and be in a role that can place myself as a leader one day.
Excellent. All right, thank you. All right, why do you want to work in the tech field?
I've never been that go-to source of knowledge for tech. No one has ever came up to me, hey Ricardo, can you help me with this? Can you help me out with this thing on this program on my computer? I've never been asked to help someone else. It was me on the other end having to ask others for advice on my phone, on my video game consoles, on my computer, my laptop, my desktop. I've always had to ask others for advice, and if I were to just become that go-to, the guy, that source of knowledge for tech advice, I think that's the real reason I want to know more about tech and work in the tech industry. Just being that go-to man who actually knows a little more and is well-rounded and knowledgeable in it.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
So as you know, we are coming to a close very soon in L&D. Could you talk about what your biggest challenge that you've encountered has been, and how did you resolve it?
I'd say the hard skills. Here at the program, I was never aware of what hard skills really were until I came, and that includes networking, coding, and Microsoft Suite, including Excel. These were all things I wasn't good at in the training room. And as soon as we learned it, it wasn't clicking right away, so I had to reach out. I had to make sure I knew who knows this a little more than me, who's getting it more than me, because I really don't get it. I don't get it the first time around, so I think I need to re-emphasize the content. I asked around. I made friends here who actually know a little more about Microsoft Excel, Access, the networking, the coding, and these individuals, my peers here, they were able to help me out. I learned that I'm actually better looking for the people who know a little more about these things, communicating with them what I don't know and what they might need to grow into, and we help each other. So they're like a peer-to-peer basis, and I help them with communications, and they help me with the hard skills. That's the biggest thing I had trouble in during this L&D phase.
Okay, so acknowledging that you've had some difficulty with the hard skills piece of this program, how do you plan to move forward an internship and set yourself up for success when it comes to acquiring newer hard skills on internship?
Yeah. I would reach out the same way to who I may ask for advice, prepare questions on things specific so I don't have to keep bothering someone with questions over and over, and have ready questions for somebody, figure out who I can ask. And if there isn't anyone particular near me that can help me out, I don't have to branch off to using my internet skills, researching. Maybe I can keep in contact with my peers from the program and see if they're having trouble with the same issues, and maybe we can join together and try to understand it together. So I will keep on reaching out to my resources around me, and if that's not possible, I'll create a resource for myself.
Okay.
Excellent. So, explain to us why you'd be a strong candidate for a project coordination internship.
Project coordination. Yes. This role, it just blurs a red light to me. I'm like, that is who I should be. I've been confident in my communication skills since this program, trying to embrace them through various extracurricular activities such as Toastmasters. Even in my coding class, I tried to be vocal. And in SOC, which is Student Outreach Committee, I've learned that to be a great project coordinator involves expertise in communications, both verbally and in writing. So I've also been able to work on my professional emailing, being able to email and set meetings with instructors, with staff, and communicate with members of all LCs here. Not just sticking with one, but branching out and learning who's who and building these relationships. I also understand that an effective project coordinator will also need to know a little more about how to keep in touch with their team, members of a team that are working on one project. During this L&D phase, I was able to lead my group into a business plan and convince them why my project would benefit everyone's interests. So we worked on an application, and all my members of the team, they liked it, and I was able to check in with them, have no status of where they're at on their individual roles. And I believe if I were in this position to be project coordinator, I can establish updates to my management, provide check-ins with everyone in my team, and make sure to gather information, being able to organize it, and make it easy for everyone to understand what's going on in our projects.
All right, great. Oh, thank you.
So I'm about to ask you a scenario-based question. Let's say that you're the project coordinator for, excuse me, the help desk team, right? And you have a project that asks you to analyze how quickly tickets were closed in the past 2 months, and to determine what might have slowed down some of the processes of getting these tickets closed. Can you talk us through the steps that you would take to start this project and complete it?
Yeah. I would begin with figuring out who is working in the past months, the employees that were receiving these tickets, and if there was a correlation with, per se, the specific questions that are asked from the IT team, if there is maybe a reoccurring topic or question that has taken some employees a longer time to answer. It may be certain questions or certain employees that may be taking a while to answer these particular questions. So I'll establish this project by first going through the history, seeing how long they've been taking to close particular tickets, and from there organize a little data table, figure out who we can either help and reestablish knowledge of how to help people on this particular issue, or how we can find a better method to answer and complete this task and support our customers. So establish knowing whether it's people are taking a while to answer it, or the question takes a while to answer.
Great.
Yeah.
So could you share with us one career goal that you have for yourself and what steps that you've taken to move towards that goal or even reach that goal?
Yeah, growing up, I've always been in after-school programs. I've had a counselor, always, like, the older guy in high school or in college, always thought he was the cool guy. And, like, just him giving me advice, just giving me confidence to go out to the dance or hang out with new people. I loved it. I enjoyed it. And that's kind of why I decided to be an after-school counselor, a teacher for a couple of years. And one of my goals is to work with kids, to be a voice for children that aren't too confident, that need a little boost. Because I feel like everyone, if someone was just there to just push in the right direction, they can do great things. And kids, because everyone has the potential to be someone. They don't need to hide in the shadows or stay in the classrooms, not hanging out with new students, friends. So one of my goals is to eventually be in a role in which I can help children in my community, which is the Tenderloin in San Francisco, and be a voice for them, motivating voice for them.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Okay, so one more question for you before we get on to our IT scenario, okay? So, say for instance that you're on an internship and you have a remote manager. You know what a remote manager is? A manager that's not on site.
Okay, he's like isolated somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere, right? He's always busy or he's just hard to get a hold of, right?
Okay.
So, you have significant downtime at your internship and you're not sure what to do. So, walk us through what your immediate long-term plan to address this concern and be specific.
Okay. If he's not, if he's remote, I probably assume that he's not nearby me.
Yeah. Downtime.
Yeah.
Lots of downtime.
Wow, a lot. He probably won't be able to really see what I'm doing. Won't be there to be over my shoulder, notice the work I'm doing, whether it's not enough or...
Downtime means you have no work.
I have no work. Okay, so if I want to reach out to him...
No, and you can't get a hold of him.
I can't get a hold of him.
That's the scenario. You have nothing to do, and that's what downtime is, and you have a lot of it. What are you going to do with that time?
Figure out who may have connections with him. Who's closer to him on the ladder of management. Try to figure out how to get in touch with them, schedule a meeting, send emails to this individual.
That's not happening.
You can't get near him that way?
You have tons of time on your hands. What are you going to do with it?
I create status reports for myself. So if they're not there and I've had all this time, all this free time, maybe I can convey everything I have been doing, put it into status reports so that if I were to eventually get this message to someone that can get even an inch close to this man, the remote manager, then I can show I've been doing so much and I need more work. I would reach out to others and ask them if they need any assistance in any of their projects, ask them if they need any help with anything that they don't understand. So make sure to connect with my peers, my resources, maintain a relationship it's not just you helping me when I need help, but I'm there to help you too in all my free time. Yeah.
All right, great. Thank you very much. Okay, so we will no longer be